never taking whatever you told me. I know what I could be, making emotion paintable and so tell me, is this what you made me?
Yes. Hey everyone, welcome to another live stream, which has been the first time in quite some time. No Rainbow Six Siege or Ghost Recon Wildlands tonight. We're going to be doing something a little bit different, but something that will be coming to the channel a lot more regularly. We're going to be diving into some DCS, Digital Combat Simulator. I've been spending a lot of time with the SU-27 flanker lately, so I thought I'd stream some aerobatics practice. I don't know how long I'll stream for, it might go for about an hour, we shall see, as we attempt not to crash into the ground too many times. Intro track was Last Heroes with 2 Worlds Apart, that's called Eclipse. Fresh off the No Copyright Sounds YouTube channel tonight. But without further ado, let's drop the music and let's get into some DCS, shall we? Get rid of that. And as if by magic, holy moly, that's just blasted the ears off me. Let's turn the game volume down a little bit. Give me a second. It's been a while since I streamed, so we're a little bit out of practice. Let's turn that down to about 20. I don't know what it was on before. But yeah, apologies if that's just blasted the ears off you. It blasted the ears off me as well. So, as we dive into the flanker, let's take a quick look. Check our outside volume. I will turn that down just a little bit more. Let's go down to 10. There we go. So it's the SU-27. Beautiful jet. Beautiful aircraft. I do like my Russian aircraft. So anyway, we're all lined up on the runway, we are ready to go. Using the Saitek X56 HOTAS. And let's get underway. Let's build up the engines. And let's get some aerobatic practice in on the jet. Speed's building. And smoke on, gear up, flaps up. Let's go. I will switch to the exterior camera to show you some bits as we do dance around in the sky with this beautiful machine. We'll do some basic stuff to start with as we roll around, heading back towards the runway. Coming in nice and low. Over we go, and up we go. Afterburners on once again, pulling hard on the stick. Up and over the top once again. I don't have any Trackir, so looking around is a bit of an issue. And my thumb, because I have small hands, can't reach the top of the joystick to move around the little analog viewpoint. Again, coming in low. Just holding it nice and low. Letting everyone get their pictures, you know. And as we light the fires, pulling up hard. We're going to cut the throttles now. And we're going to let the jet fall back on itself. We're going to switch back into the cockpit view. And we're going to recover with some power. Just letting the aircraft naturally fall. Let's pull hard then, as we bank back towards the airfield. And let's light the afterburners again. Pulling hard on the stick. Afterburners off. And let's pull across for a nice slow pass. I always like it when jets at air shows done their slow pass. You got great opportunities to take some pictures. A little bit of throttle as we head a little bit lower. Just holding her nice and steady. And we're going to go full throttle. We're going to light the afterburners again, and we are going to pull up hard. Just look to the side. Going to cut the throttle here. And we're over banking ever so slightly. I'm just going to drop the aircraft over. There she goes. Flipping the aircraft over, coming back down towards the runway. We're getting quite low there. A little bit more power. And then we're going to light the afterburners again. So we do an aileron roll. And up once again. Gaining some height. Let's pop off some flares. That roar. So we relight the afterburners. Switching them off as we recover. Pulling hard, coming in nice and low. Turning quite tight. Slow manoeuvrability of the flanker is quite impressive, to be honest. And round we go. Throttle's coming back up as we are, getting a little bit close to the ground. Not engaging the afterburners though. Waving the wings to the crowd. Obviously there's no crowd, but still. As we pull up, a little bit of an overroll there. I'm going to disengage the ESC now. And hopefully we can get there. Oh, I may have screwed that up a little bit there. Yeah, I didn't. I overcorrected too much. And first accident of the day. This is why it's called practice. Luckily, this doesn't happen in real life. So we will hit the Shift and R key to restart. Had a bit of a noob moment there. With the ESC off, you can do amazing things with the flanker. And we will just start again from the runway. I have enjoyed practicing with the flanker a lot, to be honest, now that I've actually learned to use the mission editor a little bit better. Off the runway then, gear up, flaps up. Let's go again then. We're going to cut the throttle as we go up and over the top. Gonna let her fall once again. Look at that, absolutely beautiful. Listen to that rumble as the afterburners kick in. Let's dive back into the cockpit then. Let's centre that because I can't stand it when it's not on centre. I'm going to leave the afterburners lit. Hard, high G turn. We're going to come back in towards the runway this time. Nice, low, fast pass. Getting quite low at the ground. We're going to keep her there. Let the build speed, let the speed build, and we're going to pull up. Very, very hard. Reaching towards the runway. And we are going to let the aircraft drop back once again. Stall warning. Let the nose drop and let's recover with some power. Pulling hard on the stick. And there we go. Got that a little bit fine there, I must admit. I would like some more height on the recovery. But this is the whole point of practicing. We're seeing how far we can push the envelope with this jet. Lighten up the afterburners once again as we climb towards the sky. Just going to hold her right there. And if we switch to the exterior view, we're going to just let her drop once again. Let's deploy some flares. And as the nose dips down, engage some power. And I screwed it up. I didn't catch it in time. I should have been pulling back on the stick a lot sooner. Can we recover from this? No, we can't. We're on the ground again. Oh, that one didn't go well either. So, same again, Shift R. The one thing you want to do when the nose is dropping back towards the ground is pull back on the stick quite quickly. Because the momentum of the jet, it wants to continue and then basically tumble onto itself. And it makes it very hard to recover. And obviously performing it at sort of lower altitudes basically means you don't have any height to recover once you do actually get the jet flipped the right way. But anyway, this is the joy of practice. As we get off the ground once again, gear up. Let's give the crowd a little wing wave. And up we go. Throttles to idle straight away. Let's try something I was practicing earlier on. Smoke on, let's dip the nose over. And let's see if we can catch it this time. Stall warning. Pulling back on the stick hard. Recovering with power, and there we go. Afterburners off. Letting the aircraft level out. Build up some momentum before we pull into a hard G turn once again. So that time we were quicker pulling back on the stick and recovering with power. You just have to be careful not to add too much power when you're heading towards the ground because you don't want to fire the jet into the ground. But she is just such a beautiful jet to fly. Obviously today is Wednesday as well. Catching up on the Eagle Dynamics news, the professional flight model for the MiG-29 is on the open beta today, which is super exciting. I absolutely love the MiG-29. As we pull her up and over the top, she just glides gracefully. Stick to the right, let the aircraft roll. A little power. And let's pull in low towards the runway. Not too low that we hit the ground, but low enough to look quite spectacular. Into an aileron roll, and up we go again. Afterburners full, and let's cut them there. Gonna drop over.
Скорость предельная.
Got stall warning.
Скорость предельная.
And we're going to try a spin.
Предельный угол атаки. Предельная перегрузка. Скорость предельная. Предельный угол атаки.
I don't think it was high enough for this.
Скорость предельная.
I think we're going to hit the ground. Oh boy. Yeah, definitely need a bit more height on that. I cut the afterburner too soon. But this is the joy of practice once again. Yo Nep, how you doing, bud? Let's wait on it reloading. And straight back in. Let's see if we can get a better attempt this time. Let's try and do the same. Back on the stick, and we are off the ground. Gear up, flaps up, full afterburner, and let's up we go. Pulling back on the stick hard, letting the jet go vertical. I'm gonna leave a little bit of power in there just now. Now we're gonna cut the engines. Gonna just let her drop back once again. Let the nose dip down, pulling back on the stick. Recovering with power, but we haven't got enough height. We have not got enough height. I need to practice that a lot better. I'm at the gaming bar we went to with Linus and Kevin. Ah, nice one, man. A gaming bar sounds quite a lot of fun, to be honest. Right, let's try this again. Ah, the monkey shoulder. Nice. Can't be a bit of monkey shoulder. Okay, we're gonna go for smoke on straight away. Let's pull up before we pop a tyre. Gear up, flaps up. And let's disengage the ASC. Forward on the stick. Full power. Splitting the aircraft, almost hang in the air for a second. Okay, let's hold her there. Tight left hand turn as we come across the airfield. Go for a low pass here. Full afterburner. Build in the speed. And up we go. Should have a lot more speed this time and a lot more height. Just letting her dive over the top. I think. No, I've actually managed to lose it. Okay, can we recover this? I don't think we can. You know what? I spent a little bit playing DCS earlier today. I only had one accident when I failed to pull out of a... Yeah, we've lost her. Yep, I'm just going to hit the shift and R key because I don't want to see another accident. They have different games like Mario Kart, Soul Calibur 5 and retro games like Double Dash. Oh, they also... Oh, GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64. That is an absolute classic. I definitely know of GoldenEye. Right, let's try this again. Afterburners on, smoke on. We're making a mess of these jets today. Starting to rotate. There we go. Pulling up hard. Oh, the gear hasn't gone up yet. There it is. There we go. Let's roll her over. Coming in nice and low. Gonna leave the afterburners on, that's gonna push the aircraft up. Let us get some height. That's one thing that I've been lacking for some of these manoeuvres. And we are just gonna flick the nose forward. Recover with some power. Letting the momentum build back up. Rolling the stick to the right, a little bit of right rudder as well, getting the aircraft turned. And we head back towards the runway. Let's cut some power. Easing back on the throttle. Coming in nice and low to the runway. And let's go for a Cobra. Oh yes. Quick enough on the recovery there. Look at that beautiful jet, honestly, I love the flanker. Absolutely love. She looks so nice. Anyway, we can't fly the plane from an exterior point of view, but we can watch the track back once we have. Let's get the afterburners lit then, let's build some momentum. Coming back towards the runway. Holding her. Leveling out. A little bit of an overcorrection there. Building the speed, back towards the runway. And up we go. Pulling on the stick hard. Letting that height build. And as we come to the top, let's come back in the cockpit so we can recover this. Obviously it is hard to show how these manoeuvres look from inside the cockpit. And obviously I know once I get a Trackir system as well for looking around with my head movements, it'll make referencing points, like for flying over displays and things like that, much easier. Pulling hard on the stick as we pull a high G turn. Once again coming back towards the runway. And round we go. Coming in low. Bringing her really, really low. And let's pull up on the stick. Not going full vertical this time. Aileron rolls. A little overcorrection. Pulling hard on that stick. As the afterburners light, up we go. Killing the throttle. And a bit more. Just to get us up and over the top. I think I've lost it. I don't think it... No! Right, let's try and get some momentum going for the recovery here. Oh, we've recovered it. We've recovered it. There we go. That really scared me. That really scared me. The advantage of having the height, if you do make a mistake with the power or something like that, you do have the chance to recover it. You just need to try and get the aircraft to swing, because momentum is your friend when it comes to this aircraft, especially when it comes to dipping it up and over the top. If you don't have enough power to get it up and over the top, she will want to head back towards the ground on her roof, which is never ever good. So as we come back towards the runway then, coming in nice and low again, we're going to light the afterburners once again, and we're going to head away from the runway. We're going to kill the throttles, and just at the boundary line we are going to go up and over the top.
Предельный угол атаки. Предельная перегрузка. Предельный угол атаки. Предельная
We're going to roll the aircraft round as we prepare for a slow, high angle of attack pass. Deploying the air brake to try and bleed off some speed as we come in low, bleeding off that speed. Letting the aircraft dip a little bit lower, giving it some throttle, holding the aircraft really quite low, just managing the throttle, keeping the nose up. We're a little bit off centre, but it's okay. And we back off the throttle just a little bit, and full throttle, afterburners engaged, and an aileron roll as we pull out of the low speed pass. Enough momentum, enough power to get us up and over the top with full afterburner. And one last time, full power, afterburners are lit. Don't say that, Alex be mad. A high speed high speed pass, full afterburner. Look at the roll rate, it's crazy. Using all that momentum. And we're gonna just drop back round. A very spectacular high speed pass. That would have looked awesome if you were standing on the runway. So as we head back down towards the airfield, we're going to drop our gear, we're going to drop the flaps, and we're going to just back off on the throttle. Smoke off as we prepare for our landing, backing off on the throttle, lining up with the center line of the runway, a little bit of throttle, just a little bit more, and touching down, keeping the nose in the air for some aerodynamic braking. And then the nose dips down. And let's dab some brakes. Using the switch on the front of my joystick, which is what my brakes are bound to. And let's knock open the canopy. You give the crowd a wave. Hello! Yes, you would taxi to the parking area and clear the runway for the next aircraft display. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick look at the track, because we managed to go through an entire set of, albeit fairly basic maneuvers, without having any accidents. Now, our fuel gauge is on the right here. Obviously, using the afterburner a lot, you do burn quite a bit of fuel. That gauge was at the top at the start. Let's take a quick look around the outside of her. Absolutely beautiful jet. I really do love the flanker. So what we're going to do now is we're going to quit, and we're going to watch back what we've just done. Because looking at what you've just done is good practice. Because then it allows you to process what you've just done. Obviously practice does help. What we can also do as well is switch to the exterior cameras. We can now move all of this around without having to worry about flying the jet. We can just watch it back. Yeah, I'll play some Wildlands later on, Nip. Definitely. Here we are, taking off then. I flicked the switch for the gear up, but I don't think the gear up went straight up straight away. Yeah, my gear was still down at this point, as you can see here. And then it goes up. Afterburners come on then as we roll over the top. Heading back towards the ground. And we did get quite low to the ground there, oh yes we did. Full afterburner, straight vertical once again. And just using the power. You can see just passing 4,000 feet as we started our manoeuvres on the stick. Flicking the nose of the flanker over. And just letting it fall back to earth basically. Dipping the nose back down and recovering with power. A lot of people complain about the realism of the sounds in DCS, but I'd say it sounds pretty good to me. Dipping back towards the ground there, as you can see. And that was a little rhyme. As we just slide to the left there. Passing over for everyone to get their photos. Beautiful trail of smoke. And then the Cobra maneuver in all its glory. Recovering with the power and just holding it at that high angle of attack. Afterburner on. Using the power of those engines to pull the jet back up. And then rolling over. Just letting the aircraft drop naturally. You can hear the power movement. Rolling round with the rudder. Pulling the stick hard as we head back towards the ground. The afterburners lit. You can feel that rumble. You can almost feel the rumble. Back towards the runway. Cutting the afterburners, heading back towards the ground, getting nice and low, pulling hard on the stick and up into the sky once again. So we switch around for another perspective. Using the rudder, using that one engine to kick the plane over, cutting the power of that engine. We could have actually gone into a spin there, to be honest. That would have looked quite smart. Playing it safe, recovering the aircraft and continuing with some more power towards the ground. You can see the smoke trail in the sky. Zoom in a little bit for some more rumble. Cutting the afterburners. Once again coming in really low to the ground. Building that momentum, pulling hard on the stick up into the sky once again. Aileron rolls. And then full power with the afterburners to build some momentum. Pushing the jet up into the sky and pulling hard on the stick again. See, just letting the nose drop back down. Holding the aircraft. This was where she almost dipped on me. That using the momentum to push the stick forward, letting the nose sort of almost bounce on itself, and then you can recover sometimes from there. Also, having the height for that maneuver is obviously a good thing. Height for recovery is always brilliant. Switching to a lower perspective there. Just looks spectacular. Dipping high over the top, really, really high. 3,500 feet. Obviously for practice conditions we have like no cloud. You just want a nice high display ceiling so you can take advantage of this height. Back towards the ground. Coming in low once again. and heading away from the runway. Hard on the stick once again, going straight up. A little bit of power just to make sure she gets over. And we deploy the air brake for our low, high angle of attack pass. We actually probably could have been a little bit higher on that one there. There we go, you can hear the engine just coming in. Managing the throttle, trying to get the nose a little bit higher. But just holding her on a nice slow pass. 180 kilometers there, 200 feet. Obviously that's not 200 feet. It's 200 feet above sea level. Away from the crowd, we light the afterburners again. A nice aileron roll and pulling hard into the sky once again. Hard on the stick, up and over the top. Recovering, rolling over, full afterburner. Keeping those afterburners lit, building that speed for a fast, low pass. Cutting the afterburners, heading away from the airfield. With a couple of aileron rolls once again. High into the sky, pulling away from the airfield. See that trail of smoke once again. Things go quiet. Pulling back around, a little bit of throttle, managing our descent. That might look like a missile underneath, but it's actually for the smoke. And as our gear comes down, performed a little bit of a display without crashing into the ground, which is what practice is for. Just lining up with the edge of the runway there. Let's dip down a little bit. A little bit of power just to control our descent. Look at that, that was a nice smooth touchdown. Like I say, keeping the nose off the ground for aerodynamic braking. And then just using the brakes to slow the aircraft down. The SU-27 does have a parachute fitted, but because it was a fairly slow landing, and we have got plenty of runway, there was no need to use it. Canopy pops open. And that was it. So, let's go for another circuit. We can now quit this track, because we've watched it through, and we can just click fly again. I was trying to remember which button to click for a second there. I think we'll do a little bit more practice. Let's try some more maneuvers with the ESC off. Now we will just take control. Okay, we're ready to rock and roll once again. Just hold it on the brakes a little bit, just until the engines build. Brakes off. Smoke on. So I do use the Steam version of DCS. So unfortunately I don't use the beta of DCS yet. I am thinking about getting the standalone version, because I need that Tomcat in my life. Now we're going to deactivate the ESC, which will allow us to do some crazy manoeuvring.
Предельный угол
Let's
атаки.
give it a little bit of power to make sure we get over the top here.
Предельный угол атаки. Предельная перегрузка.
Cutting the
Скорость
power a little bit.
предельная.
Pulling hard on the...
Предельный угол
Not too
атаки.
hard on the stick,
Предельная
because as you can
перегрузка.
see how
Предельный
quickly
угол атаки. Предельная
and responsive the
перегрузка.
flanker becomes without the ESC. It's kind of like having traction control on your car. The aircraft will allow you to do things that you can still make mistakes and you can still crash, but it removes the G limit. So if you pull back on the stick, she'll pull over hard.
Предельная перегрузка. Скорость предельная. Предельный угол атаки. Предельная перегрузка. Скорость предельная. Предельный угол атаки.
Angry Russian woman is angry. Just gonna keep the power just around 9,000 there. Don't want the afterburners coming on. We just almost in a helix as we head back towards the ground and back towards the airfield. See just how quickly she manoeuvres with the ASC off. And we're going to drop a little bit of power. Switch to the exterior view again.
Перегрузка. Предельный угол атаки. Предельная перегрузка.
Going back on the stick, just holding her there.
Предельный.
Letting the aircraft climb and gain some speed. And up we go. A quick pull on the stick. And we're going to let her drop. Letting the aircraft drop back through its smoke.
Предельная перегрузка.
Pulling back on the stick.
Предельная. Предельный угол атаки. Предельная перегрузка. Скорость предельная.
Oh, do we have the height for this? I think we do.
Предельный угол атаки.
Whoa!
Предельная перегрузка. Предельный угол атаки. Предельная
Okay,
перегрузка.
that was a little bit crazy. That's 3 trees. Aileron roll. Up we go again, recovering well from that last one. I don't think we're going to recover from that, to be honest. Letting the aircraft fly up into the sky. I'm just going to let her drop and fall over.
Скорость
Back over
предельная.
on itself. A little bit of
Скорость
rudder
предельная.
and a little bit of
Скорость
power.
предельная. Скорость предельная. Предельный
Yep, don't worry,
угол
we got
атаки.
this.
Предельная перегрузка. Скорость предельная.
And we're just going to cut the power.
Предельный угол атаки. Предельная перегрузка.
Now, as we do have the jet under display conditions, there is no missiles. There's not even any gun ammo. We just have flares and a little smoke pod as we continue our flying, using the rudder just to pull us back in on a tight line there. Pulling the throttle back to 0 and then back on again. Full afterburner. Up we go.
Предельная. Скорость предельная. Предельный
Spinning it
угол
around,
атаки. Предельная
and we're going to recover
перегрузка. Скорость предельная.
with the right engine.
Предельный угол атаки. Предельная перегрузка.
Oh, I didn't have the
Скорость
height for it, I screwed up.
предельная.
Should have went a lot higher before trying that. I don't actually know why I tried that at that altitude, to be honest. Anyway, I'm gonna hit that shift and R key once again. Let's hit the fly button and we're off once again. Oh yeah, I forgot to hit take control. Let's get the smoke is on. Yep, there we go. I'm back on the stick a little bit early. I do love when you switch off the ASC. Just do crazy things. Woo. Back towards the earth. A little bit of an alarming manner for a second there. Killing the throttle. Letting the aircraft slowly roll. One of the good things about practicing aileron rolls is trying to get your correction so you let go of the stick and the aircraft is perfectly level without rolling a bit too far and then having to correct it. It looks really nice and smooth. So it's why I do practice them a lot when doing some flying displays. I'm going to just trim that stick a little bit forward. And a little bit more. Yep, that time wasn't the best of rolls, but we'll it's practice. That's what it's for. Eventually, hopefully, I'll be able to put together like a nice cinematic video of all the awesome maneuvers. I definitely think we need some more practice for that. Anyway, bring her in very low to the runway. Pulling up hard on the stick, once again heading towards the, pointing the nose to the sky. Yo Blue, how you doing, bud? We're going to cut the afterburners once again. And we're going to just let the nose drop again. Recovering with power, pulling back on the stick. Got that right this time. Didn't let the aircraft go too far. Coming in fast, back towards the runway. Pulling a really hard high G right turn. Pointing the afterburners to the crowd. Cutting the throttle as she goes up and over the top. Oh, I think I screwed up. I think I really screwed up. Yes, I did screw up. Yeah, using the X56, I actually really like it. I know there's been quite a lot of bad reviews about it, but I've been using it for a while now. Got quite a lot of hours using it. And one thing, my wrist doesn't ache. Let's take control again. It feels nice to use. The ergonomics could be a little bit better on the joystick, but it's got a nice tactile feel. Like, it feels quite nice to hold. And when you've been flying for a couple of hours, you don't get that achy feeling in your wrists, which is quite nice.
Предельный угол атаки.
It has this sort of
Предельная перегрузка.
strange
Скорость
center movement.
предельная.
Like when you have the joystick dead center, it's got a sort of like, it fidgets a little bit. I had to spend a bit of time configuring a little bit of a dead zone for it. But all in all, I do like using it. And
Предельный угол атаки.
I haven't tried.
Предельный
Another
угол
flight simulator
атаки.
that I did play quite a bit of was,
Предельный угол атаки.
if this Russian woman
Предельная
would stop
перегрузка.
warning me.
Скорость предельная.
I haven't tried it with Aerosoft FS2 yet,
Переведи в набор.
which I know is not the most realistic of flight sims, but it'd be cool to try it with like a 747 or an A320 and that and see what it actually feels like. Because I've never actually tried that yet with that game.
Предельный угол атаки. Предельная перегрузка.
So it'd be cool to see what it's like for flying
Предельная
a
перегрузка.
passenger
Скорость предельная.
aircraft instead of
Скорость
something
предельная.
fast like this. Yeah, you do have to play around with the dead zone a little bit because you can just move the joystick a tiny little bit and it was quite a big input, to be honest. So just having that sort of dead zone where nothing happens, it sort of rocks around on the spring, but once it's actually moving like between the X and Y axis, it feels okay. Right, so let's try going for another slow pass. Let's see if we can get the angle of attack a little bit higher. Oh, the SR-70. Oh, the SR-71. I actually really want to... They've actually got one of them in the UK at Duxford. I really want to travel there to see it. Okay, let's try this again. See if we can get a higher angle of attack. Going to deploy the brake to bleed off some speed again. There's one thing about our last practice, I just wanted the nose to be a little bit higher. I'm going to drop back on the throttle a little bit. I think we could get the nose a little bit higher. But definitely need to bleed off more speed for it. Gonna light up the afterburners again. But yeah, X-Plane is definitely on my list, Blue. Like, I've watched so many videos and it just looks amazing. Plus those screenshots of St. Martin. Oh, so nice.
Переведи в набор. Переведи в набор. Переведи в набор. Переведи в набор.
Dropping her into a spin.
Скорость предельная. Скорость предельная.
This time we've got the altitude for it.
Предельная. Скорость предельная.
Nearly. I think I went just a little bit too high, but let's pull back on the stick quite hard.
Переведи
Back
в
towards the
набор.
runway, let's light the afterburners.
Переведи в набор. Переведи
Get our
в
rudder
набор.
centered. Hard on the stick, up we go. Killing the afterburners. Bleeding that speed up and over the top.
Предельный угол атаки.
One of the best things about the X56 as well, with it having the split throttles, means you can do some crazy stuff in DCS with the flanker. I do love the split engine setup. I actually think that would look quite cool, so.
Предельный угол атаки. Предельная перегрузка. Предельный угол атаки. Предельная перегрузка.
Up and over the top.
Атаки.
Rolling to the right.
Предельный угол атаки.
And we are going to deploy our speed brakes and gear for a fast landing. And I'll re-watch the track and see how that spin looked, because it felt quite spectacular. Switching to the exterior cam view so you can actually see it a bit better. And a nice sweet touchdown, keeping the nose in the air for some more aerodynamic braking. And we will deploy the parachute this time. Speed brake up, parachute deployed, bringing us to a nice stop. Speed brake back in.
103. Заруливайте на стоянку.
Now there's no other traffic in this area to worry about, so we can just stop here. And we shall watch back the track. Good thing about watching back the track again is actually being able to see and move the cameras around, because you don't have to worry about piloting and making it look okay. So we'll switch to the exterior view, and we do have this camera available to us as well, which is free flowing, and we can lock on to the aircraft with that key. So it's kind of like having an airshow camera. Obviously you'd position it closer to the runway, but from here we can watch the maneuvers. Using the afterburner to build some momentum. Heading back down towards the ground. One of the cool things about practicing flying displays is learning to fly in a tight space and trying to perform all these maneuvers. Learning the heights, learning what speeds you need. And it's one thing that I've really enjoyed doing with DCS. On top of all the other technical aspects, especially to do with the Hornet, which has been... It was quite challenging at first, as the Hornet was my first proper full module. I do have the F-15, the SU-27, the SU-33, the B-8E Hawk, but the F-18 Hornet, obviously being a high fidelity model, means it's a very accurate model. And it would be really nice to have a high fidelity model of the SU-27 or any Russian aircraft. Obviously we do have the MiG-21. That's definitely on the wish list. Now, as we get back to our... Let's try and position this. Let's just say you were on the crowd line here. Let's stop it there and let's lock on. Be kind of like standing behind the fence and watching an air show. It's quite a cool camera angle, to be honest. Although there's not too much happening right now, so let's skip to another camera. It's really hard to pick a favourite blue. Like, the Hornet is an amazing jet to fly, it responds so well at low speed. And obviously spending the time learning it as well has been a lot of fun. Even just like some of the starter procedures are crazy. So this was the low speed pass that I wanted to try and practice. Let's lock onto the jet and follow it through. But I definitely think it would be probably the SU-27. And once the MiG-29, which I hope gets released as a standalone jet. Nose nice and high. That looks quite cool actually. And then really light the afterburner, powering the jet back up into the sky. The professional flight model for the MiG-29, I don't know how long it's been in testing, but it'll definitely be cool to see how that aircraft responds. To be honest, the MiG-29 is my favourite jet of all time. Going to sort of Looker's air show every year and watching Tornadoes, Jaguars, Harriers was always a lot of fun. But when I first seen the MiG-29 displayed by the Polish Air Force, it just blew me away. It was like an absolute wow moment. Let's switch to the flyby camera. This is where the spin happened. Tipping the nose over. One afterburner on one side. This is where the split throttle really helps. Now, we didn't recover it in time to get it to land the right way up, but we did recover it in the end. Luckily not heading towards the ground on our roof. Yeah, the F-14, I cannot believe how amazing that looks. Like, over 4 years of development's gone into it and it just looks spectacular. I actually thought about downloading the standalone DCS just to pre-order it. Definitely want to get in on that early access, because I don't think early access will come to the Steam version. Yeah, quite a good practice session tonight. That's a few things I know I need to work on. Definitely learning the heights and recovering those spins a bit quicker, making things a little bit smoother. I thought I'd decide to stream a little bit of it. Back towards the ground, nice and low. If we switch to this camera, heading away from the airfield. Let's zoom in a little bit. You can see those engines spinning. It's amazing. coming back down towards the runway, we will see the speed brake deployed. The gear will come down, the flaps will go down. And then leveling out, bringing up the nose for a nice touchdown. And the parachute deploys. But yeah, there we go, guys. I streamed for a little bit longer than what I planned, but it's all good. And just so we're not sitting staring at a menu screen, I'll just reload that mission. We will take control. I'm going to open the canopy. A little dab of the brakes. And that is going to wrap up today's stream. Yeah, definitely, Nep. Like, I thank you for the clearance, dear lady, but we're taxiing to park up. But yeah, I don't actually know, like, if what the parachute cords are made of in terms of being fitted to a jet. But they must take some amazing, like, pressure. And we're going to just drop back on the throttle. Taxi to our parking area, we will shut down and then we will end the stream for tonight. I will grab myself a drink and then I'll be on Wildlands in a bit as well, Nep. Cool, because you can see like the traffic and stuff like that in the background. You see trains. I suppose we can just park along here. Doesn't really matter where we park, there's nobody else to park. I think that'll do us. There we go. A little bit of display practice. Done and dusted. All that's left now is to shut down the engines. Cool, because you can actually see them like winding down. Honestly, for an aviation geek, I don't know how it took me so long to get into DCS. I like how the noise changes as you as you pan around the jet. It's all quiet here, and then there we go. Engines are off. We can switch off the electrics, and that's it. With this being one of a simple model, basically none of this is clickable. Unlike in the Hornet where you have to click absolutely everything. In this it's just a case of Shift L to switch on your electrics, and then your Alt Home, Control Home to get the engines up and running. But with it having a professional flight model, it flies absolutely beautifully and you can do some crazy stuff with it. But anyway guys, thank you so much for joining me again. It's been really good to stream again. I'm going to go and grab myself a drink and I'll be playing some Wildlands later on. But for now, I think we're just going to eject and we're going to end the stream. Ta-da! There we go. Hey. I'm alive. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me guys. That's gonna wrap up the stream as we eject and end. I will definitely check out those screenshots blue in a second. I'll grab myself a drink and then I'll be good to go. But yeah, until next time, please do take care, stay safe. This is Liquid, ejecting off.
Never reminded, never taking whatever you told me. I know what I could be, making emotion paintable and so tell me, is this what you made me?